We are at the lake. There's pretty much no bottom at the end out here. Pretty mucky, but there's the floating fish basket. And you'd have to be just about on top of it to know what's going on there. Hey guys, I've just been sitting here thinking about my upcoming trip to the Boundary Waters, and doing it later on this summer, and I was getting something around for storing our fish overnight. A couple times in previous years we've tied them to a stringer and gone out, and the turtles had got to the fish and ate them up, so we were out our fish that we caught that night. So I thought about what we could do, because we'd just been keeping them during the day, and if we caught them in the evening, we were letting them go because we didn't want to lose the fish. I ran onto the guys at Upper Lip Outdoors and their Boundary Waters videos, and they had a pretty neat idea that I thought I'd use. And they had a fish basket and one of the potable water jugs, and they just tied that to the jug so it would float, and then ran a rope down for an anchor and anchored it right out 20-30 feet from the shore, and so they were able to keep their fish fresh. And I thought that was a great idea, and so I contacted them, told them so, and they contacted me back and said that they thought that they were going to try to do something to make it a little bit better, and try to hide it so that it wouldn't bother other people canoeing by. So this is what I came up with. You let it drop down through till it hits the bottom. Throw the fish basket in.
That's you.
My incooperative captain.
When?
And then that anchor sets enough tension that it pulls the pool noodle under. And you just make a little loop where you have to. And it'll hold it down under the water, and all you have is a stick floating. I don't know, it might work. I'm going to give it a try this summer. This is a smaller fish basket. I'll probably get a bigger one because I don't think very many decently sized walleyes will fit in there, but that's what I had laying around the house, so that's what I used. So I took a 50-foot rope and a stick, fish basket, and a couple of old steel weights that I had laying around. Another idea the guys at Upper Lip Outdoors had was a basketball net with a rock in it for an anchor, and that makes it easier and lighter to portage. So I plan on doing that, but for what I have today is a couple of steel weights with a hole in it. So I just went out the yard, got a stick. There'll be plenty of the sticks laying out at the Boundary Waters. I took and put a loop on the end of the rope ran it through the pool noodle, about 8 or 10 inches of pool noodle, and then about 6 or 8 inches below that, I put another loop. I just ran this end through one of the legs of that Y, one of the arms of the Y, and run it through the pool noodle, and so it rests there. It's not going to slide off. And then the reason why I left a little bit of room there is to make a loop, and that hooks on there so it pulls from the bottom, so it's like a bobber, and it'll keep this part up, straight up and down. I have this little loop on there just to hang it off my light. So here we go. Then off this end of the rope, I ran a couple pieces of steel that I had that laying around the house that had a hole in it, and I just let that fall right down to the bottom, and had this floating in the water, and it was only down maybe a couple inches. I think this probably worked for a big basket too, but if you can start with as big a piece as you want and put more rocks in your net. So I let that hit the bottom, and then I pulled up on this side, which pulled the pool noodle down below the water, and then when I got to where I wanted it submerged below, I just made a loop so that at that spot, when I ran it through again, it would just hold it down below the water column, and all you saw was this stick sticking up out of the water. And it's anchored to the bottom, and then there was, I don't know, maybe between 20 and 30 feet of rope left. If you're in a deeper spot, you'd have a little less rope. But this would keep it about 4 foot down in the water column, and anybody that paddle by would see is a stick. You could tie this to the shore. Anyway, that's what I'm going to do, and I think it'll work out just fine.